Shalom, shalom. Ma shalom cha, ma shalomech. Ani Yehuda Moshe ben Yisrael, va'ani Yehuda Hayorah. Shema Yisrael. All right, so something I want to deal with. I first want to read what it was something that a brother said, and this is not a shot at him, but this is a shot at a lie that's been taught and told. So we're gonna go ahead and deal with this really quick. Shout out to my brother Milo, who basically brought this to my attention. I've been kind of wanting to deal with this for a while. There's a lot of things that I'm gonna be covering on my channel, Judah Shootah. So this is about a misconception about the book of Romans, the 13th chapter. You have people that use this chapter to say, well, this is saying follow the laws of the land, and you can't do certain things, like, for example, polygyny. They'll say that Romans 13 is an example of following the laws of the land, and there's a big misconception about Romans 13. We have been fed Romans 13 from a Eurocentric aspect, I guess you could say a Christianity sense of Romans 13 understanding, if you will. But basically, my brother Milo Judah was talking to a brother. Won't release his name because it's not personal to him. This is a worldwide issue. All right, so I don't want to make it about him because it's not about him. But anyway, his understanding, he said Romans 13 says, obey the government, for God is the one who has put it there. He says there is no government anywhere that God has not placed in power. So those who refuse to obey the law of the land, that's where they go with this, are refusing to obey God, and punishment will follow. Now, in a nutshell, this brother here, I'll go ahead and say one thing about him. He don't believe in what we call the New Testament. So that's one of his arguments. But what's strange about that is this very brother here that I'm speaking about, he himself don't realize that even in the book of Daniel, the Most High sets up kingdoms, and he, of course, is the one who's in control. You know, when you learn about the story of Nebuchadnezzar. Now, this video is not me going live, so one of the issues is with this, I'm gonna have to break it up into sections because it don't allow me to turn my camera around. So we're gonna go ahead and go in to dealing with the Romans 13, and we're going to clear up the misconception, but we're going to do it from the Hebraic perspective, because one of his arguments was that it was about the translations. Now, I'm not sure if he's aware that there is a Hebrew New Testament, and that's where we're going to go ahead and get it from. We're going to read it from the actual Hebrew New Testament, and we're going to get it from a Hebraic perspective on what does Romans 13 actually mean. What is it actually saying? What is Paul actually trying to convey to his audience when he was writing Romans the 13th chapter? So we're going to go ahead and grab that. If you've never been to my channel, please like and subscribe. I'm Judah the Shooter. And another good thing why we're going to do this too is because I don't really do a lot of lessons in Hebrew. I don't really get a chance to do it. So this is a great opportunity to do this in Hebrew as well. Also, this Romans 13, for example, as I was saying about the polygyny thing, so this goes hand in hand. You know, they'll use it to say, well, you can't do this or whatnot. So we're gonna go ahead and deal with that. Shalom, shalom. I need Yehuda Hayorah. We're going to go ahead and jump right on into it. We're going to get it from the Hebraic perspective. You do not have to know Hebrew to be able to understand what is being said, because I will give you a translation and a brief synopsis on what is being said. Feel free to look any of these words up. Feel free to ask any question that you like. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get to it. For those who've been following my channel know that I do know the Hebrew language, and I always like to simplify everything when I'm actually dealing with the Hebrew language, because I know that there is an audience of people who come to my channel who also studies Hebrew as well. A lot of them are new. I'm keeping you all in mind. All right, so we're in the Hebrew New Testament. And as you see here, we have Igoret Polos Hashaliach El Haromiyim. So the epistle or the writing or the letter of, the letter or the epistle of Paul, the apostle, to the Romans. That's basically what they're saying. All right, we're going to scroll down to chapter 13, as you see here. Perech Aleph, Perech Yod Gimel. So chapter 13. Alrighty. So this is chapter 13, Yod numerical value 10, Gimel numerical value 3. Thus you have 13. So we're gonna go ahead and get to it. Once again, I'm Shootah the Shootah. Follow along. As you know, he was read from right to left. So we have Kol Nefesh, which means all people. Tikana. All right, this is the word for subject, submission, in other words. Now, you remember my lesson I did, make submission great again on my YouTube channel. All right, so it's the same word, tikana. All right, submission. Le gedulat ha rashiyut. So, in other words, to the greatness, because the root word is gadal, which means like great or something that's big. All right, so to the greatness of the authorities. Ki, which means because. In, so in other words, you have ki in, which will basically be to convey that because there isn't. Ra shiut. All right, so there isn't authority. Ki, which is except. Ime'et. So to let you know that there is an authority except that which is from. Then you have Ha-Elohim, the Almighty. Okay? Remember I said I wasn't going to go too fast. Then we have V'hara Shiut, which is letting you know, and the authorities, all right, Hanim Ziyot, which are found, all right, which are found al yad, by the hand or on the hand, Elohim, of God, all right. Then we have, I don't want that light to go out, so it has Nit Manu, all right, in other words, were established. All right, so the first verse, so in other words, the authorities that are there are actually the authority through the hand of God. But we're going to find out what is he actually trying to convey to us. All right, so we're going to go ahead and deal with line 2. All right, so we have Lachin, which let you know, therefore, call all Hamit Kumeim. Hamit Kumeim. So the root word is kum. You know how we say kwam, which means rise? That's the word kum there. All right, so in other words, this is letting you know, therefore all who rises up against la rashut, the authority. So all who rise up against the authority, mamre. All right, so basically they rebel. All right, they are rebelling. Let's go back. They're rebelling et pi ha-Elohim, against the mouth of the Almighty. All right, they're rebelling against the mouth of the Almighty. All right, so pay very close attention, because he's about to go into what exactly is he talking about. All right, so therefore all who rises up against authority, they rebel against the mouth of the Almighty. All right, coming next here we have V'hamarim. This would be in the sense of and the bitter, all right, or and the bitter rebels, if you will. Yisu. So these bitter rebels, in other words, they will carry et ayonam, their iniquity, all right, or for a lack of sense, their punishment, if you will. Coming on to verse 3. Now, let you know, iniquity is the key word. This is somebody that's doing what? Wrong. They're doing wrong. So let's continue. It says, Ki in pechad ha shalitim al oseh. So let's go ahead and deal with that. It says, there isn't any pechad, which is like dismay or fear. All right. Ha, which is the shalitim, which will be the rulers or authorities, another word for authorities as well. All right, because you'll see that there's different words that we're going to see for the word fear in the same chapter we'll deal with as well. All right, so we have al oseh. So in other words, what we've gathered so far, there isn't any dismay, meaning fear, of the rulers or authorities on those who do, look at this, guys, hatov, good. You see that? And we're going to explain it in a second. For those who do good, ki'im al oseh hara. What is that saying? So remember, there isn't fear on those who do good, right? But rather upon the ones who do evil, meaning harm, hurting, as in hurting someone. These are the ones who needs to fear the authority. Them, those people. Keep that in mind. If you are here hurting people and doing evil, you're the ones that are to be afraid or to fear whom God placed in power. But we're going to find out in the sense of what is he actually talking about. Let's continue. Va'alchin, meaning and therefore. All right. Im. All right. So and therefore it is razoncha. So hopefully you're following along. And then therefore it is your desire. All right. Shel tira. So in other words, what has been conveyed there, as we already read, therefore is your desire to not fear. All right. Hopefully you are following along. Let's continue. Min ha rasut, from the authorities. All right. From the authority. Aseh hatov. What is that talking about? So what we gather so far, guys, it is your desire not to fear from the authority, then do good. Then do good. I'm going to repeat that. Then do the good, in other words. Good. All right? So in other words, you have nothing to worry about when it comes to the authority if you are actually doing good. Alright? V'haya lacha, meaning and it will be for you. Shevach me'ita. So it will be for you praise, gain, benefit from it. Alright? This is the praise, gain, betterment, in a sense, from it. So, if you ain't out here hurting and harming no one, doing evil, then there's nothing to worry about. Sort of like if you're not out here starting dumb nonsense, then it won't be no nonsense. If you're doing good, then don't trip, in other words. And it will be best if you don't. You benefit from it because you're not out here doing evil. Alright? You're not out here doing evil. That's basically what is being said. You're not out here doing evil. It's not hard to grasp. Ki misrotet Elohim hi latov laka aval im hara ta'aseh yirra. In fact, I'm going to stop there. We're going to go here. So we have ki misrotet. So, because they are the servants of God, or he is the servant of God. Latov lacha. Latov lacha. This is another key word here. Oh, matter of fact, before we do, understand that the servants of God that he's actually talking about is like a janitor, you know, and not in the sense of, you know, like what we doing out here preaching the truth and waking people up in a sense, you know, for clarity, in case if anybody didn't know. So I kind of wanted to make that clear. So, you know what I'm saying? So they're the servants of God, in other words. So it's letting you know he, meaning it is, latov lacha. So it is good for you, in other words. Aval, however, im ra. So if it's evil, ta'aseh, meaning that you're doing, yera, there's another word for fear there. So if you are here doing evil, let you know fear. Alright? Ki lo lachinam. So, letting you know if you are here doing evil, right? You are here doing bad, you are here hurting people, if you are here doing that, he's telling you to fear. He's telling you to fear. Alright? And we're going to find out why. Kilo. Alright, because not. Lachinam. So not for nothing that he carries. That we're going to see here. Ha Gorat Cherev. So in other words, he ain't strapped for nothing. He ain't carrying his sword. You know what I'm saying? He ain't carrying his sword for nothing. Ki Mishretet Elohim he. And you know, once again, he's the servant of God. We just read that. He's the servant of God. So, as I was saying, he's the servant of God, and he ain't carrying that sword for nothing. Alright? He's not doing it for nothing. The Shalom Gimel. So, this would be in the sense of he pays back compensation, if you will. Alright? So, whether it's good or bad in the sense of what he's saying. But let's continue. Alright? Coming on down. Velish po. Alright? Velish poch. So, hopefully y'all following along, because this is very clear that he ain't talking about what people think that this is talking about. Alright. So here is letting you know, and pour out Hema, wrath. Wrath. Al, meaning upon, Oseh, those who do Ra, evil, harm, wrongdoing, hurting people. So if you out here doing evil, you hurting people, guess what? He gonna pour out wrath if you're doing evil. So once again, don't be out here doing evil and hurting people, which we know is a crime. So don't be out here doing this, because you could get put to death, because they're not carrying that sword for nothing. This would be in the sense of police today. Think about it. Who was walking around with a weapon on them that can pour out wrath upon you? Who's doing that? Huh? Who's doing that? You answer that yourself. Who's pouring out wrath? Alright? So hopefully y'all get an understanding. This ain't talking about nothing that would do with polygyny, nothing to do with, the laws of the land. This is talking about if you out here messing up, you out here hurting people and doing evil, you can go to jail, or you can be killed with the sword. You You can be killed with that sword. He ain't carrying it. He ain't carrying it for nothing. That's what we got there. That's what we got. All right. That's what we got. Let's go ahead and continue now. Al-Khin, therefore, Aleinu. So therefore it is upon us, Lehi Chanea. There that word once again. To be subject to submission. In other words, lo. Lo, we know is in the negative, not Va'avur, an account of. Here's another word for wrath. Ha-Kizef, for wrath. This was a word for wrath. Chema, and this is another word for wrath, anger. Ha-Kizef. Alright? The kind of wrath. Bilvad, which will be by yourself or alone, in other words. Kigam, for. And I just should thought that because it really is different words for wrath. But wow, that's what's up though. But anyway, that was just a little thought that I had to myself. So anyway, we have as we just reading, therefore is it upon us to be subject, not encountering the wrath alone. Kigam, for also mida'at, from the knowledge of chovatenu, our obligation. All right, so like the obligation of which we should do. So don't be out here committing crimes, hurting people, because if you do, you will pay the price by the authorities that he put in place, that God set up. Remember that they're carrying the sword, so do right. So do the right thing. Do the right thing, and not, you know what I'm saying, in a sense you ain't got nothing to fear or worry about from those who are carrying the sword if you're not doing evil. That's what Paul is conveying doing this writing, doing this letter. That's what he's saying here. That's what he's saying. Alright? So here we go. Al-Khin, therefore, note nin. Therefore giving what? Atim, you. Alright, so therefore giving you et Hamas. What is that? Tax. Key for Mishareti is another word for servants. Elohim, of God. Haim. So let me turn the light on. Servants of God. Alright, or they indeem, standing. Alright, because the root word is amab, which means to stand, or stood, or he stood. It just depends on how you put that in the sentence there. Alright, lazot, to this. Alright, al, on what? What we got there? Mishmartam. Alright, so the root word there was shamar, which means to guard. Alright, that's the sense of guard, to keep, to protect. So this is letting me know here, in the sense that this is that they're like responsible for, or constantly attending to. That's a good word, attending to. Alright, in the sense of diligently. They always on it. Alright? So understand that he's not carrying that sword for nothing. Alright? That's what we got there. That's what we got there. Alright, so verse 7 we have Lachin tenu lecha'ish ma she'atem chayavim lo Hamas Hamorah va hakavod la'ashir lo kavod. So let's go ahead and deal with that. Let me know here. Therefore, give to all men, or to each man, ma, which is what you owe, because the word is atem, which is for you. What you owe, what is due, in other words, are unto him. Then it says the tax, lo, so the taxes which is his, in other words, taxes for taxes. Alright, Hamas, letting you know taxes is taxes. So the tax, that's basically saying taxes for taxes. And then we have the customs. Alright, going into customs. Alright, tolls. La shirlo ha meches. So then you know, and the customs, which is the customs. Then we have here va hamora, and the fear, or there's another word for fear there. Nice. That's deep. All these words are fear. But and this is in the sense of reverence or respect. Alright. Respect. La shirlo hamora. So in other words, in the fear of the respect to whoever is respect, meaning like give respect when respect is due. Alright. Kind of like what we said today. Veha kavod, letting you know in the glory and honor, in other words, la shirlo ha kavod. So in other words, glory and honor, to those who do glory and honor, in other words. So guys, in a nutshell, in layman's terms, this is letting us know, give to what is due, taxes to who you owe it to. So if you owe a tax collector, in other words, that's in the mindset that he's saying it back then, you know what I'm saying? He's saying pay the tax collector. If you owe money, then pay the money and give respect to whom it's due to. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what he's saying there. You know what I'm saying? This is displaying love. You know what I'm saying? When you do these things, think about it. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, I might as well just go into verse 8 too, because it kind of correlates. You know what I'm saying? So when dealing with verse 8, we have here, the all to you, chayavim laish, davar zulati, havat. That's interesting right there. Ish et re'ehu ki ha ohev. Remember I said I'm not going to read fast, guys. It's going to slow down. Good word there. Et ha vero kiyem. That's interesting right there. Oh yeah, we're going to deal with that one. Because the root word is quam, which is rise. But anyway, we'll deal with that too. But we have et ha Torah. Wow. So in verse 8 is letting you know, and don't be the all to you. So letting you know, and don't be owing laish, to a man or a person, in other words, a thing. Alright? That's what he's saying there. But get this though, now he's about to go into detail here, except. Now this is deep, because the root word is ahab, which means what? To love. So we're going to come back and definitely touch bases on that. Alright, so he's letting you know, don't owe anything except love, in other words. Ish, in other words, to a man. Alright, or a person. Et re'ehu. This is dealing with what? To his neighbor. To his fellow. Alright? That's what it's going into. Ki ha ohev. I like that. I like that. But before I do, so in other words, don't owe anything except the debtor. and don't owe anything except the debt to love of his fellow neighbor, in other words. But let's continue. So ki ha ohev. So in other words, for the one who loves, et cha vero. So for the one who loves his friend, guess what, guys? Chayam. What does that say? Meaning he has fulfilled, or a lack of better terms, he has raised. He has raised. Raised what? Et is pointing to what? Ha, which means the Torah, the Torah. Wow. Wow. So, for the one who loves his friend, he's fulfilled. Like I said, for lack of terms, he's raised the Torah. So when you see the word here for the word fulfilled, I believe the King James says. So when you see as fulfilled or fulfilling, it means to raise up. All right. So this is saying he raised it, as in he's raising the bar. So he is raising the Torah, or like upholding it. He's upholding it. That's what I want to do. Upholding it. So when you love your neighbor, you are upholding or fulfilling or fulfilled the Torah. Kind of reminds me of Matthew 5:17 when it says, think not, and I'll come to destroy the law. I'll come not to destroy, but to fulfill. That means to uphold it, to raise it. From the Hebraic perspective is what they're saying. So when dealing with the laws of the land, it ain't this chapter ain't saying what people are thinking that is, or trying to make it say. This is going into people who's doing evil, wrongdoing, and out here hurting people. He letting you know, if you're doing that, then guess what? Those who he set up is not carrying the sword for nothing. They're not doing it for nothing. All right? They're not doing it for nothing. All right? Let you know if he's the servant of who? Of God. All right? Servant of God. So that's basically what this is saying here. All right? Forgive me, guys. My phone keep ringing off the hook. So anyway, as I was saying, there is a scripture in the Bible where it talks about following the laws of the land. And this is dealing with those who have the Apocrypha. Apocrypha is a title, which means hidden a secret. And we can go ahead and read where it talks about following the laws of the land. All right. So we can go ahead and deal with that really quick. Matter of fact, before we do, hold on one second. All right. So once again, this is my YouTube channel for those who's never been there. Shootah, the Shootah. Definitely check the channel out. That's the video I did. Make submission great again. You know, going into the Hebrew text. You know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of good little videos y'all can definitely check out before we deal with this laws of the land. All right. So yeah. Let's go ahead and deal with the laws of the land really quick. This is in 1 Maccabees chapter 1. All right, 1 Maccabees chapter 1. So I'm going to start in verse 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom. Now this is when the Israelites, or the Jews, when we were in captivity to the Greeks, in other words. So it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. There go your sense of your new world order, if you will. It says, and everyone should leave his laws. Look at that key word. So all the heathen, we know who that was talking about, the Greeks, agreed according to the commandment, not of God, but of the king. What king? King Antiochus. All right. It says, yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, meaning his ways of worship, and sacrificed unto idols and profane the Sabbath. All right. It says, For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange, key word, follow the strange, meaning the foreign laws of the land. So, yeah, there's a scripture where it talks about that at, and that's right here. So if one sin, to follow the laws of the land, well, here's one right here. But this is in the sense of, y'all can't do what y'all do. Y'all can't follow y'all customs. Y'all gotta follow and do what we do, the Greeks doing. King Antiochus told us to tell y'all that. That's what this is saying right here. It says, and they forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple. So you already know the Levites' job was put to an end. They'll let you know there will be what? No forgiveness of sins at that point if you can't do this stuff. But it says, and that they should profane the Sabbaths, plural, and festival days, plural, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. That's going into the worship of Jupiter. And those who got the book Babylon and Timbuktu, I believe is on page 83. It even go into that as well. But that was going into Jupiter, worship Jupiter. So for those who understand this historical, because this is historical, if you understand that, you understand that this was talking about the worship of Jupiter, and this was talking about the children of Israel had to convert to the ways of the heathen, and they had to follow the strange laws of the land. Now, if we talk in that aspect, then yes, somebody would be right. But Romans 13 ain't talking about what they think it's talking about. That's talking about if you're doing evil. That's what that's talking about. If you're doing evil, then you need to fear. You need to fear if you're doing evil. This ain't talking about, well, Romans 13 says this, so you got to do that. No, as long as you're not doing evil out here hurting people, that's what he's talking about. Committing crimes. Violent crimes at that, because he's letting you know in Romans 13 that they ain't carrying the sword for nothing or in vain. So why would somebody be carrying a sword? To use it. Why would they use it? If you're doing evil, if you're doing ra'ah, bad, evil, you're committing horrible crimes. That's what that's talking about. So hopefully this was helpful. Once again, you can find me youtube.com/Judah the Shooter. Definitely check the channel out. Also, let me type this in as well. 1 second. Check out the channel, me and the House of Judah as well. Type that in if you can.
Shalom. We are the sister wives of the House of Judah. You may know our Lord as Judah the Shooter. Thank you for watching in advance. Like and subscribe.
Go ahead and hit that bell to get notifications when we upload new videos.
Okay, and again, this video is an introduction to the House of Judah and how we interact with one another as far as polygyny, how our children interact with one another.
So definitely check that out. You know what I'm saying? House of Judah. It's the channel here. Definitely check it out. And you know, more be up on this channel a lot sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? So once again, we read straight from the Hebrew New Testament, and hopefully y'all was following along. As you see, Igoret Polos Hashaleach, letting you know the epistle of Paul the apostle, El Ha-Romim, to the Romans, chapter 13, Perich, and you have Yo, which is 10, and Gimel, so I'm gonna say Gimel, which is numerical value of 3. So I'm Judah the Shooter. Hopefully this was helpful. Shalom.